From the Central Business District in Abuja, this is Third Eye Africa TV. We want to look at politics, Nigeria and politics. Towards 2027, is it too early to start campaigns? Is it too early to make politics a big hype for activities? We started seeing some signals, gatherings here and there. Some are very, very strong. Is the path or the way to 2027 storming? Are there roadblocks? We shall be looking at that, while also assigning some roles to the Independent National Electoral Commission, the umpire in Nigeria, the election manager. My name is Ben Shema, the regular host of the program Nigeria and Politics. Usually we have NGOs, international and home-based, that handle elections, that put eyes on elections. Are they doing it right? What about the political parties? Are they doing it right? Do they have enough political awareness? They pass on to the electorate. This I know we shall be discussing. How about you? Ezenwa Nwagwu. He is the Executive Director, Hearing Advocacy and Advancement Center in Africa. So you're welcome to Third Eye Africa.
Thank you very much. Excellent.
Thank you very much. We're always here. Not looking like this one. Oh, don't be crazy. Now you've been putting an eye on the political scenario now in Nigeria. And in a very brave remark, how would you look at the way it's going within political parties, against political parties, for political parties, all in the path of making Nigeria better?
Well, I want to preface my conversations with, you started with home based. That gives me a picture of football, where you have home-based players and foreign-based players. The truth of the matter is that the past 2027, the pretense is that the giving is just the truth that the politicians, and I know you know this, not much better than the next election starts immediately in a particular election. So from that day of winning, they start plotting indeed for the next election. And it's the citizens that lose out in that, because we also are given a template. They give us talking points around what is of interest to them, which is the next election, and it is deliberate to put you away from putting your eye on governance, because for the citizens it should be immediately after election you go into governance, but for the politician he wants to continue politicking so that the citizens don't have opportunity to engage them, to put their feet on the fire on the promises that they made for which they were elected or rejected. So immediately after the 2023 election, whether it was going to court, grandstanding, some will say they want to retrieve their mandate. All of that is actually politics. It is actually grandstanding for the next election. Why do I say so? A politician knows very clearly that he lost fair and square. But to be able to be in the eye of the people, he has to he has to initiate a unnecessary legal contest. And what that means is that for every day that matter is in court and it is put on the news, his name, so when he loses in court, he goes back again and say, oh, I've been cheated. So he creates a victim mentality in the mind of the voters for the next election. So it is a clear game. But I keep saying that until we are able to see through all of this as citizens, as a people, that, for instance, what was it you said you were going to do when you were running elections? After 1 year, do we come back to anybody, whether you are senator, whether you're House of Rep member, whether you're state assembly member, whether you are governor, and say, Mr. Forget what he says. Forget the chest thumping that takes place. Are we able to say, in 1 year, we heard you say you will do so and so to the health sector? As whether we are NUJ, whether we are Nigerian Medical Association, whether we are civil society organizations, do we have our own town halls where we demand accountability? So they are the ones that set the agenda. They set the agenda for us. They give us talking points. And we say, oh, yeah, what are the parties doing? Everything they are doing is grandstanding. Whether they are coalescing or they are in position, it is all grandstanding. And being an experienced journalist, I've often made the point that, look, the way we have contextualized these issues is also unhelpful, because oftentimes we've given our people the impression that it's about dividends of democracy. Truly, it is about it. It is about well-being. But you know that the colonial masters built roads. They probably even had better hospitals than what we have today. So why did we fight them? Why did we ask them to go? They built European quarters. What was the struggle for independence about? What it's about intrinsically is about values of accountability, the intrinsic values of freedom. It's the only thing. So you come back to the military. Why was there struggle to end military rule? What was it the military was doing that these folks are not doing now? It's about accountability. It's about freedom. So people ask me the question and say, oh, when you say this, what is freedom for people who are hungry? Why are you talking about freedom when people are hungry? Because the evidence of democracy should put food on their table. I said, importantly, people should eat. But we're in this beautiful studio, Third Eye Africa Studio, beautiful place. If they provide food for us here, provide everything we need, and somebody locks us inside here and goes away with the key, everything that have been put here for our enjoyment will be of no value anymore. The only thing that will be of importance is how do we get out of here? So the values of democracy should be measured side by side. Within these 2 years, are the parties, the political parties, you can look at them and say, are they truly political parties in the true sense of it? Do we the nature of political parties that we have, the complexioning of the political parties we have, can you honestly, by themselves, the politicians themselves have said, look, our parties are just special purpose vehicles. They themselves defined it like that. So they can come in here in the morning and then become a member of the next one. Is that even in classical political science literature? You should have some basic distinctiveness. You should be able to be different. There should be differentness.
Yes. Now you can see that they've given us the talking points generally. In other words, they're setting the agenda for people to follow rather than people saying, this is what we want. Now in giving us talking points, let me say it started from El Rufai. and some people begin to follow. Now, at that point of the gale, the level at which there was this potting from a ruling party to opposition, like El-Rufai would do, and of recent, there's this special assistant to the president, Aliu Audu, who said, look, I left APC, I left Tinubu so that I can fight him from outside. I mean, how do you see this? Is it good omen for Tinubu?
So you see, you don't. I don't build personality cults. Okay, I don't build. When we often like to build personality cults. So Nasiru El-Rufai, oh Aliu, this. No, that's not. See, El-Rufai was governor in Kaduna State, 8 years. The president of the party under which he served as governor lost Kaduna State.
So he has no agenda to show.
No, you see, that's what I'm saying. You deify people. You give them a status. They want to give you. They want to present you with a status that data, reality does not corroborate.
But apparently some people followed him.
No, it doesn't matter. You see, Nigeria is a country of theatrics. If you write an article, if you write benchmark, a noted journalist, write an article, put it on your Facebook page, 2 people would go there and put like. Beautiful article. They will just put like. They are not interested. But if you go and wear your traditional attire, and post the same picture, oh beautiful, oh, that's theatrics. We are like that. So that's not a measure of seriousness. Now, how many people? Wait, how many elected people left their parties to join Nasiru El-Rufai?
But we also
how many members of his party as governor? He was the leader of a party in Kaduna State. How many people in the State House of Assembly from Kaduna resigned? I'm just using it as an example.
Yes.
This, not a criticism. I don't want it to be seen as a criticism, but I'm just asking. I don't know. How many commissioners resigned from the present government in Kaduna? Because you are the one that pitched him as example. Ali is a Tinubu advisor. Somebody Tinubu appointed.
Okay, now
so if he leaves, if he leaves the cabinet, of what concept? Which state is he from? What can he do in that state?
Okay, now let's look at a sitting governor, as the case with Delta, a sitting governor, Akwa Ibom. Then you look at lawmakers, senators, House of Reps members. Now, in Akwa Ibom, the governor says he's going to APC, and he's telling the cabinet, if you are not following, resign. And they are following. And so, I mean, this kind of massive movement.
Let's get it. You are playing with cronyism and patronage on one hand, and grandstanding on the other hand.
If you will explain.
So, here, the governor is saying, my second term may depend on these people. I want my state to leave opposition and come to position so that it can benefit. It's about patronage. It's about cronyism. It's not about principle. There are no principled engagement in that. It's about survival.
So when really they say they want to be in mainstream federal, what really does it take when the governor is a lot there in the state?
No, that's what I'm saying. It's because it is about personal survival. It's about personal survival. There is no consideration for the people. If you get your allocations, you get security votes, you get ecological fund, you get IGR. If it is about principle, right? If you are not in the president's party, the president cannot ask the federal allocation to your state to be withheld statutorily.
Sure.
Even if he does, you can challenge it in court. And the current president has established that that is possible when he was governor in Lagos State. The federal government withdrew allocation to his local government on account of the challenge. He took it to the Supreme Court. He did not abandon his party to join the federal so that he can be. So there are lessons even from the man who is there today. The people who are flocking to his party are not taking the
so
they are not taking
if the President Tinubu, remained so, firm on his stand, and now he is president. Now, do we begin to see in between the lines when then governor of Lagos, Edo State, Adams Oshomole, when he said, if you cross over to APC, your sins will be forgiven? Is it that some of these governors do fear end of tenure, EFCC will go for them? Or
See,
something?
all those things, it's because of the abdication of responsibilities. If there are basic grounds for which the governor can be prosecuted when he leaves, there are people who can initiate. You can have public interest litigation go against them. The challenge is that you have unprincipled people in politics. So there is no rubbing it. One of our big problems is we see a ripe boil, we go around it instead of piercing it so that the pulse can come out. We go around the boil. We keep going around the boil. What we are dealing with is unprincipled, ideological, free political engagements where people are thinking about their survival, thinking about their personal, rise politically than the protection of the public interest. But what I'm saying is that there are examples that can be learned from. So if it is about your survival, if you are not stealing, if you are using the resources for your people, we have seen elections in Nigeria, and you have covered politics quite a lot as well. You have seen elections in Kano where the people said, you can't turn this election. If you turn it, we burn down everything. You saw it in Bauchi. You've seen it in many places where the people resisted to. So it is about losing touch with the people and thinking that you can hang somewhere. There's another place where you can hang. When you have cheated your people, you start looking for protection from above. But elections have gone beyond that then. And that is something politicians don't want anybody to know. For elections today, power to vote and elect have been returned to the people. Many people don't know that. They don't care to know that. Let me tell you, what is vote buying?
Tell us.
Vote buying is simply the frustration that politicians have with INEC. The technologies that have been introduced, the reforms that have been introduced, especially by Mahmoud, have made it difficult for people to win elections inside INEC. So
they rush to court.
So no, if you want to win elections, you go and you go and give the voter money. That's what is vote buying. Rushing to court is an oversight, right? You have to, every election that has taken place in recent time, presidential to off-cycle elections, have been marred by vote buying. That vote buying is a statement that the voter is powerful. Nobody can take his 10,000 naira, 15,000 naira, 5,000 naira and give you as charity. Benevolence of their hearts, politicians.
Now, the way things are going, do you fear or have some fears that Nigeria might be A one-party state,
No.
like some people are saying?
No, absolutely no.
How?
Absolutely no. The current data does not even support all those.
What does the current data say?
Okay, so you have a 360 member National Assembly. I mean, House of Representatives. As at now, about 48% of that number is domiciled with opposition, including SDP and other political parties. If you talk about state of emergency resolution in the House of Rep, and 100 and at least 40 members of the House of Rep walk out as opposition, will that stand?
But some have crossed over.
I just gave you the current. I'm talking about the number. Crossing over is you have crossed over, so I don't count those ones. I'm talking about those who continue to pretend that they are opposition. The challenge of opposition is that there is even no relationship between the political party, opposition political party, and its members in government. Individuals don't do opposition. In Nigeria is the place where you have individuals constituting themselves as opposition. If there is a policy of government, if your name is PDP, your name is AA, your name is SDP, your name is, and you don't agree with that policy of government, there is a place to vent that frustration. You are not civil society. And the opposition political party have outsourced opposition to civil society. And that's why they see Sam Ben, you people are not talking. You, the media, you are no longer talking. Hey, you are no longer talking. As if you have a constitutional responsibility to play that role. They are the ones who have that responsibility constitutionally. Not only to criticize government, but to show alternatives. But even the personalized opposition that you see are people who have been in government, who didn't do well when they were there themselves. And they are not, it's not that they are history, they are current affairs. We saw when they were in government, we saw them. There is nobody today pretending to be opposition that we have not seen. That is me on the block. Is there anyone? Some have been governors, some have been chairmen of boards, some have been ministers, some have been all sorts of things in the country. And yet, their credentials when they were in government is not sufficient to convince you that their new mantra carries any excitement for anybody who is serious.
Now, let's look at still on this at the path to 2027. For example, the meeting that Northeast Geopolitical Zone had in Gombe. Apparently, it was a kind of, do I call it a brouhaha? Some people moving to say President Tinubu is adopted. Some people are saying, no, you didn't add Shetima, and it has become an issue. You could now see the crisis that erupted there. How do you rate that scenario vis-a-vis your vision, the path you are seeing towards 2027?
So we are building personality cults. Oh, you are endorsing the president, and you probably don't like the vice president. I'm just saying, I don't know. And then you didn't include that, and then there's a brouhaha in the meeting. How fundamental? Who picks his vice? The president is the one who says, I want Ben Shaman to be my vice president. It's his prerogative. Those who are playing their petty politics in Gombe, you understand what I'm saying? It's not fundamental. It is about the same patronage. People who support the vice president and people who are opposed to the vice president in a clash in their own meetings. what we celebrate as crisis in Nigeria is not crisis. What we celebrate as crisis is not. It's the same way we make people, heroes.
But this is likely to be some storm in a teacup.
That's what I'm telling you. That what does it mean?
It means the path is not clear.
From who in Gombe? Does the person in Gombe determine who becomes vice president? Even if you are chairman of the APC in Gombe, or you are the Northeast Zonal chairman, and you think you hate the vice president, it's stupid of you not to have included them. They are still together until the president says, I'm changing him.
And that's why it has become an issue.
That's what I'm telling you. It's not an issue for us. It shouldn't be an issue for me and you. That's the point that I'm making. It shouldn't be. Why should it be an issue for me and you?
Because it's hitting the polity.
It's not hitting which polity in Gombe?
In Nigeria.
No, people have collected money to take positions that they took. And they have done what they are supposed to do. Their principals are happy.
Now you see the path to 2027.
The principals, the people who send them to do what, have executed what they have been told, and that is over.
Okay, we shall come to discuss more of that as we just go for a short break, and in discussing that, we shall look at INEC. How neutral should INEC be? And of course, some people say elections could be done in one single day. Is it a possibility? We'll come to all of that. Meanwhile, my name is Ben Sherman, and you are on to Third Eye Africa TV. We are at the Central Business District here in Abuja, and our guest has been very, very vibrant, a politician who,
a politician.
a political scientist who has always x-rayed elections in Africa, in Nigeria, via his NGO. I'm talking of Mr. Ezenwa Nwagwu. He's the Executive Director, Pairing, Advocacy and Advancement Center in Africa.
This collation center is a fabrication of our own ideas that collation center becomes superior to result coming from a polling unit. We must have an election that represents the true wishes and aspirations of our people through the ballot. And elections must stop at the polling unit. You can't have election at the polling unit. People have cast their vote. Elected members have been elected. It's uploaded to the new technology that we're using, the IRF and the beavers. And then you get to collation center, you see another result like it happened in Edo.
We must now go back to section 88 of the Constitution, which gives only the National Assembly, not EFCC, not ICPC, not the police, not the DSS or the National Security Advisor. They don't have such powers. Only the National Assembly has the power to carry out investigation of funds that have been allocated, that have been approved by the federal government through the budget, the appropriation act enacted by the National Assembly.
Pleasure being with you, our viewers. This is Third Eye Africa TV.
The program is Nigeria and Politics.
This is Third Eye Africa TV, exposing crime, savaging the nation.
Welcome back from this very short break. Sipping of a cup of tea to ginger us.
I wish I had one.
Now, let's look at INEC as an umpire when it comes to conducting elections, election management. At the point, some people are saying, no, we are not getting it right. No, we are getting it far better because technology is involved. You have an NGO. You've monitored. You've observed. You've written all sorts of reports, either for or against, with observations. Now, towards 2027, as we move ahead, what would you want INEC to do differently?
I want the initiatives and innovations that Mahmoud has brought to INEC to be sustained.
For example?
Many of them. Number one, the whole idea of reduction of voter identification thefts. Then in 2023, some states registered 7 million people. Some registered 6 million, some 3 million. None of those states were able to do up to Kano, for instance, that has close to 7 million registered voters, did not do up to 2 million people. Lagos with 6 million did not do up to 2 million. If a sitting president and his governors will lose a presidential election in states where governors, in Nigeria, where governors are in the ruling party, in the northwest, the president only won in Jigawa and Zamfara. He lost every other state in the northwest. And you know, the northwest used to pride themselves that if they don't support you, you can't be president. In the northeast, the president won Borno. So, in an election conducted by, if it were not for spread and highest vote scored, this president will not be. So what made that possible? 7 governors who contested to go to the Senate, sitting governors, lost election in 2023 to go to the Senate, sitting governors in Nigeria. The innovations, the technological innovations, bewildered the politicians. They didn't know what to do with it.
But some people say, okay, we were told you vote here, the vote will just go automatically to a center.
It is mischief.
What's the mischief?
And illiteracy of the electoral process. And there, you see, there is ignorance, there is mischief. But the worst is mischief. Because that one is somebody who is pretending to be asleep. You can't wake him up. Okay? Now, what you have is a viewing center. INEC result viewing center, where you upload still pictures, not collation. I vote here, you register it manually, then you take photo and take it to a viewing center where you can look at. Do you understand what I'm saying? So people say, oh, the IREV did not work. Then you are a senior journalist. Find 10 people who are making that noise and ask them, what is IREV? Ask them, do you know that you not even normally have to get a link? You have to get a link to go to that IREV, to go and see. As we speak now, the result in your village is in the IREV. It's there. If you have the link now, you can search and see the result from your village. Many people think that this thing is a collation system. It's not a collation system.
So it's an issue of voter education.
It is, there is voter education, there is mischief. Get that very clear. When I started with you and I told you that the politicians give us talking points, the 2023 talking point after election 2023 talking point was dished out by the politicians. And what did they do? They hid their own indolence. They hid their indolence. We are conducting elections. You are the one contesting, right? Me, your umpire. I put up something where anybody that wants to see these results later can go there and see it. Right? I give you your own result sheet right at the polling unit. Once we finish, you collect, security gets it, then INEC gets it. You put your own result in your pocket. You didn't set up anywhere where you can call Ben and say, Ben, come and see what my party agents brought for me. You started shouting that INEC said they will show us result. You didn't tell anybody that the result you are asking INEC to show, you are supposed to have a copy. I don't know if what I'm saying. At the polling unit, I finish immediately. I give you your own copy. You are not comparing with your own results. You are only saying my own is not showing, but you are not using your own to make a comparison. You are only saying my own. Told you I will put up the result. Tell people that I have this result, or my agent did not get the result, or my agent was chased away from getting the result in so and so polling units. But the results that are in my own IREV as a political party is not reflecting the same thing that INEC is showing, then we can have something to compare with. So they hid their indolence in 2023 and magnified an error that is of no consequence, really.
Okay. Now let's look at it this way. Some people saying elections could be done one single day to cut costs, logistics, and all that stuff. Is it possible that presidential, gubernatorial, National Assembly?
Many people who say these things, they don't know Nigeria, and many people don't know Nigeria. I was a student leader in the 90s, and I've had the privilege and the grace of God to transverse Nigeria at least 3 times. Which state are you from?
Yeah, I'm from Kaduna State.
Are there unreachable places in Kaduna?
Well,
okay, Taraba. Let's use Taraba. Taraba, inside Taraba can take you 7 hours. Just Taraba. Inside Taraba itself, from Jalingo to wherever, can take you 7 hours. There are places where you get to, you have to stop, enter canoe, crossover, and bike. Right? In Kebbi, there are places where bike does not go, it is camel. Even if development does not get to those places, ballot box must get there. The challenge is not whether we can hold the election in one day. Your election cannot be better than your infrastructure.
So what about the Indian approach? Vote for 2 days, 3 days?
What I'm saying is that there is nothing we cannot do. Get me very clear. If we want to have election in one day, right?
Yes.
It is possible. But what is the infrastructure that will sustain that? It's not a problem, having your elections in one day. But I need to be educated. Which infrastructure? INEC relies on vendors to move material from one point to the other. You require security to move material from one point to the other. The trust level is so low that you keep your materials in the central bank. From central bank, you go and politicians will gather in the morning and ensure that the material coming from central bank is what was taken in there, sensitive materials. That's how you conduct your election. Many people don't know that in the very early in the morning, all the politicians will gather in front of central bank. Which country in the world, and you are well traveled, where people go and keep their material in central bank? Where?
And thereafter begin with long court cases.
So where? It's not the infrastructure, mental, spiritual, physical infrastructure that you require to deliver single day election is not available. It's not available. It's a desire. It's something we can work to. But to pretend that you don't know that you are calling for chaos. This is you that if they do overnight election, you say they have rigged it. If result is not announced within 2 days, you say they have written it. This is where you are. The level of infrastructural mobilization that needs to take place to have a single day election, in my view,
It's not tenable.
is not available. So we can improve on what we have. What are the biggest challenges that we have? Logistics. No company in Nigeria has the capacity to deliver materials around the country. None. Because of our topography, because of our population, because of how big we are.
But some would have thought, or one would have thought that because of our own advancement, everybody has a kind of virtually everybody having a national ID card, or if you can transact a business here, withdraw money here, or send money here, it's sent in or received in Calabar. Why can't we adopt that style?
Do you know that there are people you send money to, they won't receive it in 3 days? Do you know, or are you pretending not to know, that there are local governments that for people to have money transaction, they have to go to their local government headquarters in our country? Do you know
So we'll remain like this?
No, do you know that's why I said your infrastructure. I'm not saying you should not. Don't misunderstand me. I'm only saying that what you have now is incapable of guaranteeing a rancor-free election in a single day. And that is because I understand, and I know it to be true, that the level of backwardness that we still have in our country, people paper over it. They think that if you live in Abuja, that is how everywhere is. In the FCT, where you have 6 local councils, if Gwagwalada alone, you can do 4 hours on a bike inside Gwagwalada.
Now let's look at a different issue. Those elected National Assembly, governors, I mean, some people say, if you want to cross carpet, you want to leave a party, why don't you resign? Resign with the position you are, go contest, INEC should be able to conduct another election to enable you now move. A situation where voters take you to where you are, you abandon them only for them to see on TV, hear on radio, read newspaper, social media. You've abandoned them. You've moved. What's your reaction
The
to
tragedy of our politics is that the people who make the law insert conditions that favor their misbehavior in the law. So, the law says if there is a crisis in the party, you can move. So, which party? If you want to move now, which party can't you claim that there is crisis?
Maybe you go to Ghanese National Conscience Party with one eye.
So so you see, the law itself, there's a condition in it that favors misbehavior. And those who complain about it know that they can't remove it, because if they remove it, they will not have opportunity to. Because no matter what me and you say, in that section that gives them that leeway for this misbehavior needs to be amended by them. And how many amendments have we had since 1999? Do they go near that one? They don't touch it. It's the same thing that is holding down Electoral Offences Commission for 17 years. It's been there. Nobody can pass that law. They will not pass it.
Because all are guilty.
Not that all are guilty. Because, like I told you, they deliberately insert conditions for misbehavior in the law that gives them leeway to misbehave when they want. That's the point. And the ignorance around it and the pretense that we don't know, like you are saying now, oh, you know, if you defect from the political party, yeah, you should resign. That is what he says. But you are not going to read the other part that says if there is crisis. Sometimes all you need to do is to go to a party meeting and slap the party chairman.
And that's a crisis.
And he slaps you back. And he slaps you back. That you can resign. So, until you have lawmaking that is neutral, we must have a lawmaking process that is neutral, that is not intended to preserve any interest. But today, the lawmakers are holding to their side. They make law and hold to their side. They are like farmers. They farm as they are holding. They are only holding to their side. So the laws are not neutral. The laws are not thinking that, let me make a law that I will not necessarily benefit from. All right? Until the lens of lawmaking is one that is neutral, that is clear, impartial, that is statesmanly in orientation, we are not going to get the kind of results that we are looking for.
Okay, now moving towards NGOs now, community-based or society-based organizations and their roles when it comes to elections in Nigeria. Now, you are the executive director of Pairing Advocacy and Advancement Center in Africa. Now, by way of monitoring, by way of observing, even though some people they are different, elections in Ghana, South Africa, Kenya, you've gone to all of these things. What is it that you observed and you bite your finger, the tip of your finger, and say, how I wish Nigeria got it this way? I mean, by way of comparison, let's see what...
So you see, the political culture of countries differ. So take Ghana, for instance. The politicians in Ghana do not cross carpet the way we do here. The former president of Ghana, Nana Akufo, contested up to 3 or 4 times in his political party. He didn't change parties. He stayed. The Ashanti region is the region that carries the biggest vote in Ghana. Their people don't vote. They don't vote against their party. They abstain. If they are angry with their party, they don't do anti-party. They stay off. You see a different political culture now. Here, somebody can be in a political party and undermine his party. It's already going on, you know.
Protest votes.
It's going on. So, you are, and the nature of the politicians in those places, civil. Our own politicians are absent. They don't like reforms. When they study reforms, they also set up a group to study how to subvert that reform. So our culture is different. You go to Liberia. Liberia has fought a war. And so when they see ordinary rope on the ground, they think it's a snake. They don't want anything that can bring crisis in their country. Their politicians are tempered. Everybody votes. Whether you are a party agent, you are a politician, you are a doctor, you vote. They do early voting. Ghana does early voting. Those are the things that we can bring to our thing. As a journalist, most times you are working on election day.
Exactly.
You don't have opportunity to vote. You are disenfranchised by virtue of the services that you provide for your
Look
country.
at the diaspora, the journalists, security agencies.
So all of that, all of those things, we can work around it. Ghanaians who are in Nigeria go to their embassy to vote. But your own people go to Sudan. There are 5 million of them in Sudan. Many of them undocumented. So if you want to go and say you want to do diaspora voting, you have to be clear what you are saying, because Sudan is also diaspora. If they throw the vote from Sudan alone, so diaspora is not Germany, it's not London, it's not US. Cameroon is diaspora. Niger is diaspora.
So, finally, towards 2027, is the road stormy?
The citizens hold the power to drive an agenda that could make it whatever we want it to make. As far as we allow politicians to give us talking points and set agenda for us, the road will be stormy, because they profit from the storm. It is in the storm that they profit. It is in the crisis that they profit. Whichever way crisis goes, the politicians are the beneficiary. It's like insecurity. Insecurity is business for the security people. The security administrators benefit from insecurity because the budget for security is increased. The governors who have security votes will no longer account for it. So let the people take leadership. Let people's organizations, civic groups and organizations, take leadership and set agenda. I have shouted myself once on this matter that if Nigerian Medical Association could have a situation in which it organizes a town hall by itself, not the one that the government organizes and invites it.
Select and invite.
Yes. If NMA can say, we have done a study on the state of health in the country, and Mr. President, Mr. Senate President, Mr. This, we want you to come to our function. Sit down and hear us. We are the ones who treat the people of these ailments. If you can have teachers, their union of teachers, saying, look, we are having an event in which we want you to come and listen to us, see the state of primary education. No matter what your people, civil servants are telling you, we are the ones who are there. There are schools who have only 3 English teachers. Some don't even have English teacher for many years. Some don't have mathematics teacher. Some don't have physics teacher for many years.
In fact, when El Rufai did some restructuring in Kaduna, some teachers, in fact, I know of a school here, close to Buhari here, at the boundary between Kaduna and FCT here. I went there were pupils, no single teacher.
So that's what I'm telling you. Who should know? It is the NUT that should know. The ministry officials who are signing documents of, there are teachers in those schools, so in the payroll.
That time they said they were reforming, so they sacked unqualified teacher and sacked everybody. Stayed in Kaduna. I went to Kauru local government around Chori Chawel. There was just one teacher for 6 classes.
That's why I'm telling you that in I don't know about that one, but I know that in the payroll, most of those schools have teachers. People who receive salaries in the payroll. But the NUT, ANCOPS, should burrow into that and have publications that shows and reflects the state of this. So the point that I'm making is that the weakness of civic groups and organizations on the road to 2023 is the determinant of whether 2027 is the determinant of whether it is going to be stormy or whether it is going to be easy. But I would think, and seriously so, that we will work very hard on this road to 2027 to galvanize citizen action with knowledge, because it's a different thing when mischief, half-baked information is ruling conversations. We have to come with clarity, with clear voter civic education that can empower people in a way that they can ask the right questions. The politicians will start jumping up and down. If they don't do that, they are not politicians. And if you go piggyback to where we started, I told you that everything they do, they profit from. when they lose the election, they keep the matter going. So it's not just government that people don't know that the opposition too has the strategy of continuing, you know,
Being relevant.
playing the relevant game even when it should be holding government accountable in terms of policy. When last did you attend any policy discussion or engagement by any opposition political party in Nigeria where they come to discuss, they invite you, as it say, come and hear us discuss the economy? Forget going to TV stations every morning and evening, jumping from one where you are giving just less than 30 minutes, at most 1 hour. Where did they have their own policy conversation where you can engage them and say, okay, they are floating the naira. We not production. Let's have a conversation that where you can have people debate the economy, debate education, debate foreign policy, debate health, debate aviation, and then counterpose it with what is on ground and what you think could be better. If you have attended any, I want to be invited to the next one.
Well, while waiting for the next one, it is here that we have to call it quits for the program Nigeria and Politics. We'll be looking at the roadmap to 2027. Is it stormy? Are there roadblocks? We've been able to discuss with the Executive Director, Peering Advocacy and Advancement Center in Africa. I'm talking of Ezenwa Nwagwu. Thank you for coming to us.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so very much. Good evening. Thank you so much.
Some other times, we invite you.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bless you.